Thanks so much for joining us. We're here at the Center for Career Planning and Professional Development at the University of Oregon School of Law, and we're here today to talk about the on-campus recruiting process. What I'd like to start with is sort of a first question about where you gathered information about the on-campus recruiting process, how you gathered information about firms, and how you knew that you wanted to participate in this process.
I'd actually been pretty familiar with the on-campus recruiting process just from reading forums like top law schools. Mm-hmm. And so I had, coming into the summer before TILA, a pretty good idea of what the process was going to be like. But I mostly started thinking about it when Dean Hanley wrote the email to all the 2Ls just advising us of when the dates were coming up.
Emails from the career services really kept me cued into the process, when the deadlines were, why I needed to be checking Simplicity.
It kind of threw me off. I was like, okay, what is this? These things seem so far away. I didn't really know what was involved, but she was super helpful in explaining what the process required and why it was really important to get started at the beginning of summer.
So I think just get on it like at the beginning of summertime,
right,
and take a little bit of a chunk. Like if you just spend 15 minutes a week,
yeah,
you'll be able to have everything in line.
I probably would have prepared my application materials a little bit sooner. I had a little bit of a time crunch at the end, not realizing that I couldn't submit them last minute like I kind of planned to do. And so I wish that I would have gone and talked to the counselors and really understood that process a little bit better up front.
What do you think the advantages are of participating in the on-campus recruiting process?
I found when we had Oregon alums come here to do mock interviews with us, I thought that was extremely helpful. And just because they can provide an outside perspective on what answers are compelling, what answers are not that compelling.
One big advantage for me was it enabled me to have some exposure to a lot of different kinds of law firms. So big firms from bigger cities, smaller firms from Eugene, and just sort of understanding the dynamics and the options out there. I think that's a big advantage. And then also, I think it helped me sort of articulate what my interests might be and sort of what options are out there in terms of practice areas, because there really are so many options and each of these employers offers something a little bit different. So it enabled me to really think about, what I might do with myself.
The primary advantage is just interviews. It gets you in front of as many people as possible, and they're all different.
I think it's really good just to get your application materials ready, get you mentally prepared for interviewing. I know I entered the program not expecting to get a job. I went in just to make sure my cover letter, my resume, all those materials were good to go.
I had 30-minute conversations with probably 50 attorneys in Portland, partners, through the on-campus process and then the callback process. And so, having those one-on-one meetings with people who didn't necessarily offer me a job, but still I think they would recognize my name if I ever contacted them, was really helpful in just sort of using interviews as a networking opportunity.
I would say the interview practice is absolutely number one. Even if you have zero interest in any of the firms, I would do it just for interview practice. Even if you've held a job before law school, the law firm interview is a different interview than any interview I've certainly had in applying to jobs.
I think it'll have great value when I leave law school and then I'm applying for, professional jobs in the future. I've already done, 25 interviews all within the short amount of time. I mean, it's practically like taking a class in interviewing. You just learn so much.
I think it's a great opportunity just to take the time and make sure that all your application stuff is ready to go. So even if you don't get a job, you're ready to continue pursuing jobs.
There's no reason not to participate in OCS. The worst thing they can do is say no to you. But you still got an interview, and you got the experience, and you're going to be in a better position next time. And if things work out really well, you'll get a job. And I mean, there's just no downside to the process.